Hello everyone. Welcome back. Chapter 3 Think Like a Chess Player talks about the strength and weaknesses on each chess pieces. It tells you which part of the board you need to place it to be most effective and its usefulness when paired by another major chess piece. This will be a short video, so enjoy and use it as a tool on your way to become a grandmaster.
While knights are most useful when they are close to the action, bishops are usually best placed on long diagonals where they can control squares from a distance. In this position, the bishop is putting pressure on the A8 square no matter if it's on B7, C6, or G2. So in general, it's better to keep them safe while still attacking key squares. Let's take a look at some examples. One thing to be careful of is that bishops can also be vulnerable to pawn attacks that can push them around. Watch how white traps the black bishop. The bishop has no escape. Bishops work really well together when used as a pair. Together, they can cover a lot of squares and make up for the fact that each bishop only attacks one color. Look at all the squares these bishops control together in black's territory. Bishops also pair nicely with the queen, who often goes in for the attack while protected from the bishop from behind. Let's take a look at this attack with the queen and see how both bishops work together to help checkmate the black king. The queen checks the king on H8 and delivers checkmate. Notice the dark square bishop joins the battle and prevents the king from escaping. It's game over. One good question to always ask yourself is which diagonal would the bishop be most effective on? Let's see if you can answer that in the questions. There are few things as satisfying in chess as making a good move with the knight. Maybe it's because it's the only piece that can jump. Or maybe it's because with each new square the knight lands on, there are now 8 new squares of possibilities to consider. The knight is so full of potential, if you use it correctly that is. In order to make the most of your knights, you will need to put them on squares where they have the most possibilities. Let's see what happens when you put a knight into the corner. How many squares can it move to? Right, only 2 squares. Now let's see the knight on the side of the board. How many squares now? That's right, only 4. And how many squares can the knight move to now that we've placed the piece in its favorite place, directly in the center? That's right, 8. The knight loves being in the center of the board where it can leap into action anywhere. And if you really are looking to maximize the knight, place the knight on the 6th rank where it not only controls the center, but it also is eyeing the valuable pieces that are often found on the 8th rank, like the king. Look at how dangerous this knight is. Knights also work really well when used together with the queen. Together, they cover all of the potential black king moves. Just look at this checkmating duo. One final point about the knight is this. The knight is usually the best blockader of an advanced enemy pawn. Rooks hate getting stuck in front of pawns, and bishops aren't that much better, but knights feel right at home blocking pawns. Now it's your turn to see if you know how to activate your knights. Rooks are the second most powerful pieces in chess, if you use them right, that is. At the beginning of the game, the rooks are on the most useless squares. But once you get to the right spot, the rooks are very useful. One place rooks like to be is on open files. An open file is one where there are no pawns at all. On an open file, a rook can see all the way across the board. Even more powerful is having 2 rooks on the open file. Notice with both of white's rooks on the open e-file, black's rooks are no match to fight against them on the e-file. Another good place for a rook is on a semi-open file. A semi-open file is where there are only pawns from one army on that file. This might mean that your rook is attacking your opponent's pawn, like this. Or the rook is protecting your own pawn, which you are probably trying to push. Finally, the best place for a rook is on the 7th rank. Here it attacks your opponent's pawns and also cuts off the opponent's king. When you get 2 rooks together on the 7th rank, they are so unstoppable they have earned the nickname Pigs on the 7th. Let's see if you can put your rooks on their best squares. The queen is unquestionably the most powerful piece in chess, but knowing when and where to use the queen can be a challenge. On the one hand, she has great attacking potential. On the other hand, the queen can get trapped, so be careful. The black queen can't escape. The queen is best used when supported by at least a few other pieces. Don't bring the queen out too early, however, or you might lose a bunch of time as she gets chased around. Queens can work very well when paired with bishops, like in this position. The light-squared bishop delivers checkmate as it's supported by the queen, and also notice the dark-squared bishop prevents the king from escaping. The queen and knight also work well together, like in this position. She can also be deadly when used with rooks, either in front or behind the rook. And because she can attack so many squares at once, her best use is when directly going after your opponent's king. Checkmate. Watch as a white queen invades the black king side. Game over. Now let's see if you can make the most of your queen.